Andrew had some things that he wanted to talk with the community about as he makes his departure, and I'm sure many in the community have some questions for Andrew. So he and I are going to have a conversation sitting down together. I appreciate, Andrew, your willingness to do this. You know, I ask questions of people for a living, but we're not going to put you under oath. That's the good news. Is this on?
Yeah.
How you doing?
Doing pretty well. Thank you. Let me just say thank you, and thank you all for coming. It is so heartwarming and difficult at the same time to be here right now. So thank you, but I look forward to the conversation.
Great. So when you came to the position of president and CEO of the Federation in 2012, you were a university political science professor whose chief claim to fame was devising a quite novel system of voter registration in which people are divided into permanent national constituency groups unrelated to where they live. You had no significant fundraising experience. You had no significant management experience. Yet I think most people in the community would agree you've done a phenomenal job. How did you do it, and what are some of the things you're most proud of as you look back on your tenure?
Well, Rabbi Rosenberg was talking about what the people were calling you about. Who is this guy? It was sort of the same thing. I've seen that story before. And it's been about 7 years. I like to say I went from studying politics to doing politics. So I was supremely prepared. But really, in all seriousness, I went through a couple of steps. Number one, listening to the key constituents of our community to understand what are the challenges, what do we need to be doing, what is it that we haven't been doing, and just understand who was at the table and also who wasn't at the table, who needed to be at the table. And then I went through a process of getting clarity about the mission. I want to say that, you know, what you said, Rabbi Rosenberg, again, that we were perceived as only a fundraising organization. But in point of fact, the Federation has always been about community development and community investment. But I think a lot of it has to do with the messaging. And so we had clarity about the mission. We're a community development organization. You know, some people say, well, and Harvey, I'm going to come back to you in a second. Harvey Wallace, who was a Bush. I'm going off to a job that I might be doing more fundraising than I do right now, and nobody would mistake Hebrew Union College as a fundraising organization. I'm going to a job that has a fundraising staff that is a good deal larger than the fundraising staff that I have, and no one would mistake Hebrew Union College for a fundraising organization. And I'm going to a role that is going to require me to raise much more money than I'm doing now, and no one would confuse it. And the reason that it's successful, the reason the Art Museum is successful, the Symphony is successful, is that it has clarity about the mission that people are raising money for. And even though leadership before me, Barry and multiple ones, had a lot of clarity that we were here for a thriving community and did incredible work to support it, the messaging around it and the disposition around it was not about that, and it was much more about the annual campaign, et cetera. I went too far. Right? I talked about not being a fundraising organization. That's where Harvey comes in to say, well, we're not only a fundraising organization. So I appreciate that. I appreciated the importance to it. We also moved to an engagement approach that we said if the challenge to Jewish life is the fact that people aren't engaged, asking them to give as the first step is not a good path to success. We need to figure out a way that people can have on-ramps into the Jewish community, and first and foremost, Federation had to provide those on-ramps. And finally, in terms of how we did it, we took a collaborative approach. We took an approach that emphasized collaboration, transparency, accountability, not just holding others accountable to make sure they got their gift on time, thank God for Ilsa Altman and that generation, but also holding ourselves accountable to the community by really moving to much more of an impact statement. Did you ask me what, did I get everything, or do you want me to?
Some of the things you're most proud
Yeah,
of.
so thank you. I could go on. I am a college professor after all, right? So a couple of things. Number one, the community study. It was something that I took on soon after starting. What that did was focus us on data, focus us on impact, and have an understanding of what the community was. And I will tell you, if I had to do only one thing that I've done in the last 6.5 years, it's that community study, because it got people focused. Number two, education. Sonia Dubinsky and the leadership of CAGE came to me in 2014-15 and said, "You're on the same path we are. Let's merge and let's figure this out." And we reinvested in a different way in education. We came up with the Center for Jewish Learning. Cindy Levy has provided inspirational leadership. We have the Shema Speaker Series that she created that leverages resources throughout the community. Our Israel engagement, we took a pro-investment approach to Israel and a pro-engagement approach in any number of ways. And rather than fighting the fights, we've created a broad-shouldered community, I believe, that really is tolerant of a wide degree of diversity of ideas. And I mean, I could go on: security responsiveness, regional progress, the building renovations. And I have to just thank Michael Steinberg in particular. Michael came to my office, it was about 5 days in, and he had a corned beef sandwich. I thought, this is a great job, I get to eat corned beef. Day 10, I was over that. Lenny, you're wonderful, but you know. But you sat in my office, and we were talking about, number one, the building, and we were talking about that maybe it needed to be demolished, maybe it needed to be removed. But you said to me something that was so important, that was Rome wasn't built in a day. And you really live by that. Not only you, but the entire leadership, Bob and the leadership, that we understand change takes time. And if we're not patient as a community, we aren't going to see the change. Finally, just the last thing. This really is not about me. This is about we. I might have had an inspiration. I might know how to give a good public talk. I might know how to teach. I might have some ideas that I can cull from how we've been doing the same things we were doing, but maybe do them in a different way. But the people that did them are the staff in our office that I've never seen a more dedicated group of people. The people that did it were our lay leadership that stood up, Bob and Patty and Harvey and Jerry, in the time that I've been there to lead a board. And the people that did it are the people in the room, the community that responded, that said, you know what, this is worth investing in. It's worth investing our time, it's worth investing our dollars, and it's worth investing in partnership. I was once accused of trying a kumbaya approach, and someone said to me, how's that kumbaya approach going with the Jewish Light in particular? Have you seen the Jewish Light lately? I think it's pretty good, actually. So I'm excited about that, and those are the things that I think I'm most proud of.